go. Just gathering some acorns. Got a good sized bag full so far. Start. Squirrel keeps beating me to him. Alright, so there's one bag full. You want to have at least 1 pound of acorns. Anyways, I'll get to that in the next episode. That's not what I'm talking about right now. I just happen to be gathering some acorns because this is the time of year to gather your acorns. Anyways, welcome to episode 3 of season 3. Alright, here we go. Hold on. Okay, you want to watch out for sharp nails sticking out of fence posts and stuff because they will snag your backpacks and tear your clothes. Nah, they can't see me. I'm hiding behind the fence. We're good to go. Alright, here we go. Yep. Season 3. Episode 3, Season 3. Also, obviously, you want to watch out for sharp thorns. Alright, here we go. Hey, this bucket will come in handy. Perfect. It's a beautiful day in the apocalypse. A beautiful day in the apocalypse. Can you survive? Can you survive? It's a beautiful day in the apocalypse. A beautiful day in the apocalypse. Can you survive? Can you survive? Alright, you ready? Alright. That excess weight right there. Okay, warning. The following demonstration is potentially dangerous. So you do not want to do it near an open fire, and you want to do it in a well-ventilated area. You ready for this? Okay, as I just mentioned, we're going to use a bucket, but we're going to line the bucket with a heavy-duty plastic trash bag, or drum liner, as they call it in the service. Okay. Mission accomplished. I'm just going to twist this excess baggage and tuck it into the handle like that. See? Hold it in place. But not tie it all the way. It's just held in place. See? Okay, it's empty and ready to be filled. But not the trash. As I mentioned, the following demonstration is potentially dangerous, so you're going to want citronella wristband. That's just to chase away the insects. No, seriously, you're going to want a pair of heavy-duty chemical gloves. Wait, what is he up to, right? Okay, hold on. Okay, I guess I should back up and explain to you what we need all this stuff for. Today, I'm going to show you how to waterproof any ordinary piece of fabric. Now, this is a pillowcase I got at a thrift store for 99 cents. It's a big, thick material. Happens to be green. But anyways, I'm going to use this as a storage bag, but I'm going to want to waterproof it to carry supplies in, and I'm going to show you how to do that. But besides waterproofing a pillowcase, I'm going to show you how to turn this bed sheet, it's a good sized bed sheet, and waterproof it and turn it into a tarp, essentially, and then you can use that to build a tent or a shelter. Okay, as always, stay safe, be careful, and God bless you. Okay, here's where the bucket, trash bag, and the gloves come in. You're going to want to take some mineral spirits, okay? Take some mineral spirits. You're going to want to use approximately 1.5 liters of that, along with a tube, an entire tube of silicone. You're going to mix that together in the bag, and you're going to add the fabric to that. Pretty easy, pretty simple, right? Why are you mixing that in the bag, you may ask? You could just do it in a bucket. We are in an open ventilated area. However, when you mix it in the bag, it helps to contain the liquids, keep it from evaporating, and keep it from fumigating into your face. Makes it easier to breathe, more enjoyable. And it also makes it portable in case you need to take it with you. I'm going to use a screwdriver and a brick to puncture the top of the can to create an air hole, which will make it easier to pour. Very carefully, of course, and wearing eye protection in case it would happen to splash up at you. Doesn't usually do that, but just in case. Okay, there's the air hole, see? I said air hole, not ear hole. Okay. Now to measure this, I have a 1.25 liter. You could use a 2 liter and fill it up, 1.5 way or 3/4 of the way full. This is 1.25, so we'll have to do a little additional. We'll just fill this up and then just splash a little extra into the bucket. I'm going to use a funnel to pour that in here. I would mention that I have a method where I use the gray funnel. Gray I use that to remember gray is good. Use that for tea and beverages, for food. It will be safe. It's not going to have chemicals mixed in it. Gray is good. Black is bad. So I'm going to use the black one to pour these chemicals into this bottom. Very carefully, of course. Remember, safety. And of course, after doing this, you do not want to store the good funnel inside the bad funnel. You want to keep them separate. Keep the good good and the bad bad. But you can wash off the bad one and then that'll be good. But I still wouldn't use it to make tea. Okay, once again, I'm wearing safety eye equipment. Before you pour this, try not to splash it all over yourself like I just did. Dang. Aha! Actually, it was absorbed by the pillowcase. So we're all good. No, but seriously, this liquid is skin and eye irritant, and it is combustible, so you want to be careful. But it's windy out here, and that's why it's getting everywhere. So I'm going to scoot it back some and attempt to pour it again. Okay, come on, now stop your drip. Okay, now it's starting to pour good. There we go. And you just want to fill it up to the 1.25 mark, which is approximately there. Actually, I'm going to give it a little more because it needs 1.5. I'm going to fill it all the way. I'm going to go ahead and cap this off while I'm getting the silicone ready. But you got your 1.25. You do not want to drink this. It may look like Sprite, but it's not. Alright? It's not water either. It's harmful or fatal if swallowed. Alright, so you want a sharp pair of scissors to cut off the tip of your silicone tube. Okay? Once you remove the tip, then you also need to puncture the inside of it. But before I do that, I'm going to position it into this caulking gun here. Okay, so pull that piece back right there. You see it's got a little groove. If you never worked it, it's pretty simple, but you just want to hold it in place with this right there on the bottom. That holds the container in place. Slide it over there like that. As you push it forward, boom, you're good to go. Alright. So I'm going to use this little drill bit right here, a little pocket-sized hand drill for drilling holes. I'm going to use that to puncture this, or a nail, or whatever. But there you go, just punch it down. Got the silicone on there now, I'll wipe that off. But anyways, here we go. I'm going to squeeze this into the bucket. Okay, the whole tube. The whole tube and nothing but the tube. Anyways, talking about silicone. Alright, so it has a certain odor to it, but it's okay. Squeeze the whole thing in there. Might take a few pumps. There you go. Okay, it's starting to, no, it's still got more. Alright. Well, so how you been doing? Just sitting here squeezing this tube. Alright, looks like we've reached the bottom. There we go. Okay, so now as you can see, got the silicone in the bucket and it smells like dookie. Alright, now let's add the mineral spirits to the silicone. So it's silicone and solvent, basically, contained in a bucket with a trash bag. And for the entire bottle, that's 1.25 liters, because you want 1.5 liters to mix with 1 tube of silicone, approximately, for this recipe, for this sheet right here. So I'm going to loosen up the sheet some and stuff it in the bag. Okay. Good, this is the fun part. And take off the glove now. And twist the bag a few times. Give it a little loop-de-loop. Doesn't have to be a solid tie, just enough to contain the fumes. Lift it out of the bag. And just kind of stomp it around on the ground, something like this. You want to mix and knead it and flip it over. Let the juices pour down into it. That's why you want to make sure it's securely twisted and tied. And there you go. You just want to do this for about 5 or 6 minutes or so. Make sure it's fully saturated into the cloth all the way. And there you go. Well, that's this step so far. And if you can't hear it, plants are circling around again. It's a beautiful day in the apocalypse. How you doing? Just keep mixing in, flipping it around, tossing it around. Play catch with it if you want. And not unless you have it securely tied together. But anyways, you just want to make sure that it's saturated all the way into the cloth. well soaked. You don't want it to just be waterproof in one spot and then stretch it out and be like, well, what about the rest of it? Well, in case that does happen, you can use the remainder of the liquid, a paintbrush, and you just paint it up and fill up those spots so you can work it together. But the next thing I need to get to is stringing a piece of paracord between some trees to hang this thing up and let it dry. Let it hang up and dry. Probably overnight. I might drape it over that fence over there. The clouds seem to be in a bit of a hurry today. Anyways, just keep mixing it up for about 5 or 6 minutes. I'm guessing it's been about a minute or so now. And then when you pull it out of the bag, you want to make sure you're wearing your gloves. Pretty easy, huh? Okay, you'll want to carefully remove the fabric from the bag, making certain that the fabric is completely coated with the silicone. And then, basically, as I already mentioned, you either hang the fabric on a clothesline or a piece of cordage, tie it between 2 trees or 2 street poles, and you let it hang out overnight to dry. See, there's a squirrely that keeps beating me to all the nuts.
Oh, hi, Squirrely. Hi, Brownie. How you doing, huh? There he goes.
Here's a cluster of acorns, or former acorns. I like those acorn caps. I think these are the original sewing thimble. You know, see how it fits right on the tip of your finger like that? Anyway, it's time to hang this sheet up. Yup. I should probably mention this is actually my first time to attempt to do this. So, we'll see how it goes, right? I'm going to use these heavy-duty clips to hang it to the fence. Not sure that it really mixed that well. I'm not sure that it mixed that well. This is what it looks like outside of the bag. It looks like most of the silicone is in one area, so I'm going to try to mix it a little bit better if I can outside of the bag. Gotta fold it anyways. Got a little bit of weight to it when you hold it up over your head like that and the wind's blowing against you. Oh, alright, concentration of silicone. Alright. Guess we'll find out when it dries how well it turned out, right? Alright. Oh, what's the point of this thing? Trying not to drop it on the ground, you can tell. Not as easy as I thought it would be. Super. very slippery with the silicone. Like, wow, I can barely even get a grip on these gloves now to try to take them off. Seriously. Anyways, this has been another episode of Prepping for the Apocalypse. How to waterproof any fabric. Wow, how do you get these gloves off? They're so slippery, seriously. Silicone and rubber. You do not want to use your mouth to pull these off like, mm-mm. Anyways, there you go. You grab the other one like that. Okay, now these look like some jumbo acorns. They're also green, so I don't know, they might not be good. I'm guessing the ones that the squirrel throws down are the ones that aren't good. He's like, here, you can have this one. So anyways, I don't know if you could even see what I was just doing, but I just spent quite some time hanging that sheet on that fence right there to let it dry. It's not exactly camouflaged right there, but I don't think it'll grab too much attention. Just hanging up a bed sheet. Somebody will probably assume that it's got pee on it or something. Just looking at it, I'm guessing I probably missed a few spots. Alright, so besides waterproofing that bed sheet, as I just demonstrated, I also got some of this forest green fabric, approximately 9 feet of it. This is a thick fabric right here, designed to block out the light from the inside when you set it up as a shelter. But I also got some of this fabric right here, this real tree print. This stuff is awesome because it's the perfect material to hide underneath or behind. And also, once you waterproof it, you can bring it with you to keep you dry. Okay, I was going to say, the phone would sit still with a 9-foot piece of fabric such as this. You see how once you waterproof it, you can wear it as a cape or a cloak. It's not very ideal when it's windy like this, but as you see, it covers your entire body. And camouflage. Where'd he go? Peekaboo. And if it's snowy weather, it's got this reverse side to blend in with the snow. So it's multi-purpose, tactical, practical, and it's about to be waterproof as well. Look like I'm ready for a haircut. And just a little bit off the edge, or a little bit off the ears, you know, just trimmed. Anyways, rolling on. All right, let's get back to this pillowcase. Well, wouldn't you know it, I lost my other rubber glove. Kind of reminds me of season 2. A little bit. Here it is. Just had to backtrack a bit. And there's the sheet drying on the fence. I'm still not 100% certain that I have that one completely coated with the silicone. So for this one, I'm going to mix it up a little bit differently. I'm going to mix the silicone inside the bag by hand before I add the pillowcase cloth. So that's why it's important to have both gloves. Then I'm going to use these heavy-duty clippers to remove the gloves. And hopefully they have enough grip to do that. I'm being serious. Okay. Use the same bag that I just used for the sheet. It's already got a layer of silicone in it. But I didn't mix it before I added the fabric, so when I went to go squish it together, it didn't mix very well. So I'm going to try this a little bit differently this time. Okay, once again using a funnel and a bottle to pour approximately 1.5 liters of mineral spirits. Hear that airplane? I'm really wondering what I'm up to today. Is he making some sort of explosive? Is he mixing some sort of illegal chemicals? No, it's legal. I got it at the hardware store, I promise you. You can get it at Walmart too. Mineral spirits. Anyways, there you go. Filling up the bottle again. Still, that is not water. Looks like it though. Okay, this time I'm going to pour this into the bag before I add the silicone. That way it won't stick to the bag, it will dissolve in the mineral spirits. That's the idea. That's what we're doing here. That's why you're using the mineral spirits. So anyways, keeping it contained in the bag. Here we go. I got silicone all over my hands. Okay, once again, you want to cut the tip off of the silicone with some scissors. And then puncture the inside of the tube, like that. And just wipe it off with the pillowcase. I'm about to add silicone to it anyways. Here we go. And squeeze the silicone into the bucket filled with solvent. Silicone and solvent. That's what we're mixing together here. Okay, there you go. Got the solvent in. All right, you got the silicone mixed in with the solvent, so I'm going to mix it with the gloves, see? Right there in the bucket by hand. You could probably use a stick or something instead of the gloves, but after I get this mixed up somewhat into a liquid form, then I'm going to add the pillowcase right there. Got airplanes flying over. That sounds like a jet, actually. You hear it? Where'd it go? I don't know, I can't see it on camera. They're up there. They're flying around. You don't know, there's world conflict and all that going on. Okay, now you can see it's mixed well together. Okay, so to that, I'm going to add this green pillowcase. Completely saturated. Make sure it is completely covered. There you go. See, this fits into the bag and bucket a lot easier than the bed sheets, so this should definitely be a success. Yeah, it's going to be the most waterproof pillowcase in the world. Until you make one that's better, of course. Just continue to squish it around in the bucket for a few minutes again. Okay. It's well saturated. It is completely soaked. It's not going to get much wetter or better. Look at that. Whoa, don't want to splash that around. Dang, I just noticed the wind blew the sheet off the fence. I gotta go reattach that again more securely. That's how it is when you deal with the elements. Does anybody know what makes the wind blow? That's John Elefante, former singer for the band Kansas. He's got his own Christian solo albums that are awesome. Alright, I was able to mix it by hand in the bucket using one glove, but now I'm going to have to make sure I have both gloves on for this part. So remove it and hang it on the fence. Speaking of on the fence, when it comes to a matter of life and death and where you're going to spend eternity, you don't want to be sitting on the fence. Just saying. Anyways, back to this pillowcase here. Alright, look at that. Nice and fully saturated. Somebody's in a hurry. Yeah, get her done, dude. Anyways, squeezing out this excess liquid, I'm going to try to use this for the next item that I'm going to soak and waterproof. But anyways, draining it out like that. Maybe I don't want to drain it out too much, but it's pretty well soaked. So, pillowcase is soaked, and I am stoked that this should be fully waterproof, dude. So anyways, I'm going to use these clips, which once you have the silicone on your gloves, it makes it real slippery and try to hold on to. But you can't see right there is a fence. I'm hanging it on the fence. Wow, kind of slippery when wet. No association with the album by Bon Jovi. Uh-oh, I can't take my glove off now. I left my clamp way over there. And I'm being serious. I'm just being dramatic with sound effects. But as you see, there's still plenty of solution left in the bucket. Alright, so since I have plenty of solution left, I'm going to use it to waterproof this camouflage shirt right here. Mixing it up effectively just like the pillowcase. If you ever worn material like that out in the rain, you know that it is extremely absorbent, and once it sticks to you, it clings, and it's hard to get off, just like these gloves. And it absorbed all of this silicone liquid here, so it should be fully saturated. Woo, and after it dries up, if it does dry up, it might take all weekend, but anyways, once it does, this should be the most waterproof undershirt ever, until you make one that's better. Alright, there it is. Alright, so if you can see, it's got it hanging on the fence right here next to the pillowcase, fully saturated. You can see it's got pieces of silicone stuck to the material, so it's going to have an interesting texture, but it should definitely be waterproof. You'll see that in the next episode. God willing, of course. Alright, just hang that up and let that dry for a while. Meanwhile, I get to hang this sheet back up on the fence. Alright, let's make some baked beans. Now I'm a big fan of using bricks to contain your fire area. Normally I would use a striker and a cotton ball to light some firewood, but there's no rule that says you can't use some instant light charcoal and a quick lighter. So that's what we're going to do. Very simple, just pour a few. You don't need too many for one can. But say 6 or 7 just to make sure. You don't want to use all of them. And just use your quick lighter. Click it at the bottom of the coals, and as you see, instant light. So you don't want to put the can directly on the hot fire, though. You want to wait for the coals to go down, and you know when they're ready because they'll turn white. Well, I'm sure you've barbecued before, right? Anyways, got the fire going. Instant light, charcoal, and a quick lighter. Easy peasy. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and use this can opener to open this can here. You want to make sure you have an effective can opener, of course. And you just turn the handle and it spins the bottle while you open the can. If you've never opened a can opener, but I'm sure you have. Some people are spoiled with technology and electricity now and used to using electric can openers. This is an old school hand can opener. This in your pocket, but not very comfortable. Alright, just let the fire roast a bit. If you have some marshmallows, it's a good time to roast your marshmallows. Don't put your hands in the fire like I just did. That's an example of what not to do. Similarly, an example of what not to do was when I attempted to mix the bed sheet in the bag. I put the silicone in first and then I added the solvent. As you see, it's more effective when you add the solvent first. Mix the silicone in so that it's, well, you just saw that anyways. You already know. There you go. And once again, you don't want to mix solvents near an open fire like this. Y'all just missed it. A huge buzzard went flying by like woof, woof. Almost slapped me in the face with his wings. Okay, now that the fire has gone down and it's smoke, you put the can on the hot coals, balancing on the very edge of the bricks over the coals, and push them in some to make sure it's good. Alright, so wait a few minutes and it will heat it up in the can. Go ahead and remove the lid at this point. Set it on there gently to help hold the heat in, but to allow the steam to also evaporate. I opened the can first because, for obvious practicalities, you do not want to try to open a hot can in your hand. Ooh, 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 ah, ah, ah. You know what I mean? I'm being serious. So that's how you heat beans in the can over hot coals. And if you sit this close to the fire, you're going to get smoke in your eyes. Can you see the buzzards flying around up in the air? Doing aerial acrobatics. There they are, see? And if you're careful, you can also set a slice of bread on top of the fire and make some toast. Top of the hot coals, it's not a fire. Alright, let's see if this is dry. Nope, not yet. Still completely saturated, but it's only been about an hour. Meanwhile, there's that sheet still hanging on the fence. So as the bread begins to toast on one side, you just flip it over and toast the other side. Okay, now these little packets of silverware with the napkin and salt and pepper. Well, this doesn't have the salt and pepper, but that's okay because we're gonna add some barbecue sauce anyways. Anyways, as I was saying, these, you should stock up on them right now where they're readily available because you can use them. They're very practical and they could possibly be used as a bartering knife. I could probably do a whole episode on how to use the serrated edge of a plastic knife for sawing and other things like that. Basically for sawing small pieces of wood, twigs, you know, for firewood. Wouldn't carve a totem pole or anything, or make a table, you know what I'm saying. It could still be a little bit warmer, but the toast turned out great. I don't know. Well, this is a 28 ounce or a 1 pound can, so it does take longer for it to heat all the way. As you reach down to the bottom, those are the warm beans, but on top it's not really reaching those. So you may want to try just a smaller can, regular size can. But that's primarily suggested for apocalyptic conditions, of course. This pretty much concludes this segment of this episode. Stay tuned for part 2 and we'll see how well the fabric was saturated and waterproof. I'll let you in a little secret that may be obvious. You hear about the pioneers, how they survived the cold winters by eating beans over a fire, right? Well, it's not just the beans that help them survive, it's also the Dutch oven effect when you fart inside your sleeping bag or under your blanket. The farts will keep you warm. I know this from experience because I actually survived an ice storm with the warmth of my own farts after eating a big container of beans. The smell was not pleasant, but I did survive. And I'm here to tell you all about it. It's part of my testimony. Thought I was going to die, but I didn't, because God has plans for my future, and God has plans for your future too. So don't lose hope and don't give up, but be prepared. It may be rough. And I'm being serious.